Were you raised on a farm? That's all right. Were you raised in the city? That's all right. What about the country you were raised in as a child? The earth and its produce are for you. It was designed this way. How did you learn about the people and places throughout the world? There are places we will never visit in this lifetime, and yet through reading, research, and conversations, we learn something about their history. Then, with your life experiences on this journey, their history and your history creates a little bit of history. Perceptive readers, when I stated that Saturday is a favorite day for many, and the reason it happens to be is on the weekend because of the work week being 5 days a week mostly around the world globally. So when people get to let their hair down, which only seems to be 1 or 2 days a week, you see, Saturday happens to be one of those days. And on those days, I have asked the question, what do you do to enjoy your Saturday? What makes it fun for you? There's a variety of activities that people engage in during the warmer months, but I was asking even for the winter months as well. Do you do anything special? I talked about eating out. I talked about specially made drinks, and you know what I'm talking about. But I'm also talking about reading. You see, that Saturdays are also a haven for some who love to read. I mean, this may sound strange to some persons, but boy, there are some books you can pick up and you just can't even wait till the next Saturday that you can get back to it probably and read it all day if you want to. Of course, people can read it at night, but it's something about knowing that if you were to be going to work the next day or what have you, that you say, okay, I still can only read this chapter only so far, even though I know I left it on a cliffhanger or what have you, where on Saturday you can just keep reading and reading and reading all you want. And I'm going to tell you, see, one of my enjoyments has been in my life, has been Marvel Comics, and DC Comics. More so Marvel Comics, Stan Lee, you heard me talk about them quite a bit. And still, with that being said, there's been some Saturdays, you can tell this is like in my younger days or what have you. But I'm telling you, when they used to have even brick and mortar stores and stuff like that, because some comic book stores have closed down, you see, the brick and mortar kind, isn't that something? Well, all the same, just one of the treats, so to speak, or for some persons, was to already eat them a nice little meal or what have you, had them nice little, drink beforehand, and would actually go and, you see, buy some comic books, or even do some reading for a couple of hours, even right in the brick and mortar stores. That was just something that I wanted to share with you, because all the same, as some of those persons got older, then when they started going to those brick and mortar stores, they started picking up books like what I'm about to talk to you. I just wanted to read you one brief chapter, that was talking about developing confidence. And this came from a quick and easy way to effective speaking. I haven't talked about this book with you for years. It's been some years. But I wanted to read this chapter to you as a reference or reminder if you remember the last time I read it to you. Because I wanted you to still contemplate what this author was talking about. Have you felt the same way in similar situations dealing with confidence? And do you believe what the advice that was given to him, whether that was applicable or not? So I'm just going to read a section of chapter 2 called Developing Confidence, and it is from the book. It was written by Dorothy Carnegie. You heard of her, haven't you? And Dale Carnegie. So, Dale had put all these good practices together, and he put them in a book, and he gave speeches and things of that nature. And then his wife or his daughter also continued to, carry on that spirit. And that's a shame. Well, I said, I don't know whether it was his wife or his daughter. And so, anyway, I'll look it up afterwards or what have you. Chapter 2. 5 years ago, Mr. Carnegie, I came to the hotel where you were conducting one of your demonstrations. I walked up to the door of the meeting room and then stopped. I knew if I entered that room and joined the class, sooner or later I'd have to make a speech. My hand froze on the doorknob. I couldn't go in. I turned my back and walked out of the hotel. If I had only known then how you make it easy to conquer fear, the paralyzing fear of an audience, I wouldn't have lost these past 5 years. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Is my little statement interjected. Okay. The man who spoke these revealing words wasn't talking across a table or a desk. He was directing his remarks to an audience of some 200 people. It was the graduation session of one of my courses in New York City. As he gave his talk, I was particularly impressed by his poise and self-assurance. Here was a man, I thought, whose executive skills will be tremendously increased by his newly acquired expressiveness and confidence. As his instructor, I was delighted to see that he had dealt a death blow to fear. And I couldn't help thinking how much more successful and, what is more, how much happier this man would have been if his victory over fear had come 5 or 10 years before. Emerson said, "Fear defeats more people than any other thing in the world." Oh, how I have been made aware of the bitter truth of that statement. And how grateful I am that during my life I have been able to rescue people from fear. When I started to teach my course in 1912, little did I realize that this training would prove to be one of the best methods ever yet devised to help people eliminate their fears and feelings of inferiority. I found that learning to speak in public is nature's own method of overcoming self-consciousness and building up courage and self-confidence. Why? Or did I say, excuse me, perceptive readers, I want to make sure, overcoming self-consciousness. I want to make sure I said that. And building up courage and self-confidence. Why? Because speaking in public makes us come to grips with our fears. In years of training men and women to speak in public, I have picked up some ideas to help you quickly to overcome stage fright and developing confidence in a few short weeks of practice. And I'm going to stop right there, perceptive readers, and just think the next heading goes into get the facts about the fear of speaking in public. But I won't be reading that. I just wanted to let you know that if you thought about even picking up the habit of reading, even on Saturday for a few short hours or even minutes, I'm sure you'll learn something. And guess what? You can add it to another moment that you can say, Saturdays feel great. Take care.